And what are you cooking for us?
We're excited. We're doing the Korean barbecue taco, which is
Mm.
actually my favorite taco on the menu. So I actually just had it for dinner last night. So I'm so excited to make it for you guys.
Cool. Well, so show us how to make it, and also tell us about Tacos for Life. Obviously, you didn't name it Tacos for Life if you didn't have some sort of mission. So
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I'm excited. So as I make it, I'll kind of tell you a little bit.
excellent. That's perfect.
Yeah, we're going to do a Korean barbecue steak taco, and we marinate and grill all of our steak in-house. We're super passionate about that, making sure we are creating and putting our heart into our recipes. So we really love that. So we're going to start with that. So we just have some steak here, and I'm going to stick on our taco.
And
And
it's
then my,
already marinated?
yes, sir. It's been, well, we actually have our own house marinade that we marinated in, and then we grill it in the stores. And so we did that before, so that way it'd be a little bit easier for us
I
to
gotcha.
talk.
It's all grilled. There's
Yes,
no
so we've
smoke.
already marinated, grilled, and chopped it for you. So we've got
I see.
our steak here. Yeah, really
Very
good. And
nice.
then my favorite part of this taco is a Korean barbecue sauce. And I love this. It's kind of got like a salty sweet. It's soy sauce, orange juice, ginger. It's got that kind of lots of different flavors. Salty, sweet, really great bite to it. I really love it.
And does it have Korean gochujang in it or something like that?
It does not. We thought
Okay.
about that, putting that on there because I that's my favorite hot sauce currently. But we sometimes will stick if I'm at home. I have some in my refrigerator and I'll stick it on there. But we didn't put that on there originally. So it does have sriracha inside the sauce, but not there's no gochujang. So,
Okay.
but I love the suggestion. That's great. And then we put yum yum, which is a homemade yum yum that we make in house.
Now that's the name of the sauce, Yum Yum.
It is.
Now it's probably a secret sauce, but can you give me an idea of what that tastes like?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's got kind of a good sweetness to it. It is kind of a cream base. So we've got some mayonnaise in there. It's got a little bit of paprika. It's got a good tang to it as well. So we've got a series of spices and sweetness, and it's delicious. I love it. So it's one of my favorite sauces, and it marries really well with the Korean barbecue.
Is that why you call it Yum Yum sauce? Because it's yummy?
Oh, absolutely.
That makes sense.
It's a perfect name for it. So yeah,
Yes.
it's really good. It's kind of reminds me of just a sweeter cream sauce that goes on top of it. So, and then we do a little crunch. We add a little cabbage, which gives it some freshness that I like. And then we do our own wontons in the store. So they're always really fresh, and it gives another added crunch to this taco.
And is that a flour tortilla or a corn tortilla? It's
Yes,
flour.
sir. It's a flour.
Okay.
So when you come to the restaurant, you can get your taco on any shell that you want. We have puffy, corn, flour, steamed, crunchy, whatever you like. But I really like the flour on this. I feel like it's a good, it kind of gives it a good fusion feel. So
I gotcha. Now, you also have some franchised restaurants. So how do you make sure that the tacos are made consistently everywhere at company-owned restaurants and franchise locations? What?
yeah, absolutely, Brett. So I'll tell you just really quick.
Mm,
The quick 2-minute version of our concept is tacos. We try to give you some really delicious tacos. So we have anywhere from 13 to 16 tacos on the menu, depending on the time and what we're running. And we love to do tacos that are kind of craft and full of flavor, unique, really fresh ingredients. And we also have a mission, which you mentioned earlier. And
yep.
every time a guest comes in and orders a taco or a quesadilla or a bowl, any meal item, we send a portion, it's about a quarter, to an organization called Feed My Starving Children, and they feed a child. So they feed in over 60 countries around the world, and just a really amazing nonprofit that I would encourage anybody to look up, called Feed My Starving Children. So it's been really an amazing journey to go on. So yes, to your question, we work with a lot of franchisees that we love and are so thankful for, because they're able to kind of partner with us in different parts of the nation and able to execute this on such a high level. And I think that's something that we've noticed is we have such amazing franchisees that they want to keep that standard of really excellent food. Because Brett, as you know, you can have a great mission, but if your food is not shocking and amazing and consistent and delicious, then the mission is never going to work. And so that's
Right.
something we're all passionate about in our brand is, hey, we want to be able to provide meals for kids in need. And the best way we can do that is to provide the best tacos out there. So I think we all kind of share that value as a company, and that's been really fun.
That's great. And so about a quarter of the proceeds go to feed our starving children.
Yes,
And
sir.
and then they feed whatever starving children in the 60 countries that need it.
Yes, sir. So it's actually a quarter. So it's not a quarter of the amount, but it's actually a quarter.
Oh, a
So
quarter. Oh,
it's
a
about,
quarter. I gotcha.
yes, about 25 cents off of your cost of your taco or your burrito or your quesadilla. So if you were to come in, Brett, and say, hey, I want to try this Korean barbecue taco, 25 cents out of what you give us is going to go to Feed My Starving Children. It's going to provide a meal to a child in need.
Well, that's great. And
Yeah.
you guys, when were you founded? 2014, something
Yes,
like
sir.
that?
2014. We opened in June of 2014. So we're still a pretty young company, and it's been a really fun journey.
But you've probably then donated a lot of meals. Do you have an estimate of how many meals you've given
Yes,
to
sir.
starving children?
We've raised a little over 15 million.
Wow.
So it's been great. And that's been honestly, my favorite part of coming to work, Brett, is I feel like I get to participate in a job that's bigger than Austin and I. We just had this silly idea, and then people believed in it and believed in the potential of the brand. And then we were able to meet so many people in the restaurant business and in the industry that are smarter than us and have more experience, and guests that love Mexican food and want to make a difference. And here we are. That's so cool. 6 years later, 15 million meals. And it's just been a real honor. And Austin and I have gotten, as well as many people on our team, the chance to meet some of these kids and really experience the difference it's making in their life. And it's amazing. It really is.
So just to clarify, Austin is your husband and co-founder, is that right?
Yes, sir. That's right.
And,
He's
and
probably my better half. I wish he was here with me, but
so how have you gotten to meet some of these kids that you're helping to feed?
yeah, it's really cool. So we've developed a really wonderful relationship with Feed My Starving Children. They're out of Minneapolis. So whenever we had the idea to open the restaurant, we actually flew out there and met with them and kind of started that relationship. And they shared with us about what they're doing. And after we'd been open a year and a half, they came to us and said, hey, we would love to get you organized on a trip where you're able to go and see how this works. And Brett, it was amazing. We were able to go to what they call a care point. So they're doing not just feeding kids, but they're doing all the sustainable things around feeding them. So the food is not a crutch, but it's actually a foundation. Because you can't, a hungry child has no ears, is what they tell Austin and I. Like if you give a child, try to teach them education or ways to provide for themselves, if they're starving and under 5, it's going to be hard for them to move. So we got the chance to see that. And we met 2 kids specifically that we currently sponsor. Saki and Fiwo are their names. And Fiwo at that time was 5 when we met him. And it was amazing just to get to see his face. And we got to put the rice, it's a Manna Pack, actually have one right here for you, Brett. But this is a Manna Pack. This is actually what the kids receive. So it's dehydrated vegetables, soy protein, rice, all in this pack here. And when you fix it, you just mix it with hot water. So anybody around the world knows what to do with this, even if they don't read the language on the back. So it's really a miracle to get to see these women and men pour this into this pot and stir it. And then Austin and I get to watch and participate in putting this in their little bowls and just seeing the excitement and watching all the other things that they're doing to make a difference in kids' lives. And it's been really cool. And we've gotten to go several times since then. And it really validates the power of what our guests are doing just by eating tacos.
And what country was that in where you met Fiwo?
Yeah, so that's Swaziland, which is one of the most beautiful countries I think I've ever been to. It's right next to South Africa. It's about the size of New Jersey. And at the time that we visited, which would have been, let's see, that would have been several years ago, 5 years ago, I guess. At the time, there was more concentration of people with HIV in that one country than anywhere else in the world. So the power of this food is not just because they're hungry, it's they needed this to be able to take their medication. It helped with their health care. It helped with their teeth, their overall, it was amazing just to see the power of the food. So yeah, Swaziland, Africa was the name of that country, but Feed My Starving Children feeds in 60 countries around the world, and our donation goes to almost all of those. It just depends on where the need is and what's happening, so.
And as you said, starving children don't have ears. So you feed them, and then they have the capacity and the brain power to get education and build better lives.
It's amazing, yes. And the way that the restaurant started, it's kind of crazy, Brett. My husband and I had no restaurant experience, had no plans of being in the restaurant business. I was a first grade teacher, and my husband was in real estate. And we just heard someone speaking, and he was the CEO of World Vision at the time, and he was sharing just 2 things that really impacted us. And one was at that time, this was 2010. Austin and I had just gotten recently married, and he said 18,000 children are dying every day over and over again because of hunger or some type of hunger related cause. And I think when we heard that, we knew, okay, everybody knows that there's a lot of children that are suffering from malnutrition, but 18,000, that's like a natural disaster every day. And it just, we left there completely gripped. And then he said something else that really, I think, inspired us and propelled us towards where we are today. He said that the World Food Program had stated that hunger is the single most solvable problem facing our world at that time. So out of everything that we're facing and dealing with in our world, hunger is the most solvable. The world produces enough food for everyone to have enough calories per day. It's just a distribution problem. And I know it's more complicated and very complicated, but it's been amazing to get something simple, like come in, order a Korean barbecue, donate a meal to someone like Fiwo. And to see that connection and the power of that difference of the one. And it's just been really cool to see that happen. So we started on a journey with something we didn't know anything about. And it was just an adventure. And it was amazing to kind of see how God provided every step of the way to put us where we are today.
So why did you decide restaurants were the way to do that?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So Austin and I we love food. So Brett, we didn't know anything really about cooking formally. Neither of us are chefs or went to culinary school or anything like that. We both just love to eat, love it. So our only experience was going through the drive-through or eating inside of a restaurant. We had lots of that experience. Well, when we left that night, we thought, like, what is something we can do? And so we got involved in sponsoring some kids, but we really wanted to do something more. So in 2010, Tom's Shoes was really popular. You know, you purchase a pair of shoes and they donate a pair to a child in need. And Austin, he has this amazing mind of trying to look at different things that are already happening and trying to apply them to different businesses. And he has such a gift for entrepreneurship. He was like, okay, Ashton, if this is working with shoes, and some of it was our ignorance with the food service industry, he was like, why is nobody doing this with food? This would be amazing. Like, people have to eat. So what if there was some type of program built in where if you come and order a meal, you're able to provide for a child in need? And honestly, Brett, we're both faith followers. And I think a lot of it was just following what God had laid out for us, because we had no idea and still don't. And we kind of stumbled upon Feed My Starving Children. I heard about him on the radio and Austin heard about him through a friend. And we thought, what if we opened a restaurant? How hard can it be? Right? And now we laugh about that, because we're like, this is really hard. But as you all know, in your own industry, in your own passion, if it's really hard, but you love it and you believe in it, it's worth it. So I think that's where we are now, is we're so thankful because we love food. We love serving with people. So putting those two together and being able to do that with our guests and with kids that need it, it's been really amazing. Challenging, but amazing. So.
Well, and you're in 18 locations, which means you're in 18 communities. And I imagine that you also have community involvement. Are there particular organizations in the cities where you operate that you're also involved?
It's been really amazing. That's a really good point that you brought up, is the service and the opportunity that you have is not just overseas or inside the walls of your restaurant, but you're able to get a whole group of people involved and kind of rallying behind this cause of, hey, let's do something big. Let's really get excited about this. So one of the things we do, Brett, is called a mobile pack event. And because of the virus, it's been put on pause. But Feed My Starving Children, originally, the goal without COVID is everything is volunteer packed. So all of these Manna packs are packed by hand. So you glove up, you get in stations, and people are packing these in groups and teams. So we have people from corporate organizations, volunteer groups, college students, first grade classes. And it is amazing because they come in, they order a taco, and then they sign up and they're able to come and say, this is what my lunch and my dinner has impacted. And then they see it load on the 18-wheeler and they watch it pull off. And so that's been really cool, is to see the power in a community of people getting to get behind it in more ways than just eating, and then getting to see, they'll tell you, hey, your food is going to go to Zimbabwe or Honduras or whatever. And so it's been really neat to be able to trace that and see people in the communities getting excited about that. So yeah, it's been really neat.
And you're creating jobs, which is always a good thing.
For sure.
So now that the volunteer packing has been put on pause, how are you packing them?
So Feed My Starving Children has been working very hard since then. And now they are packing them through machines and an automated system, just because, the kids need the food. So that's right. The number one goal. So they just did whatever they could as fast as they could to figure out how to get the food to the kids until they can kind of get volunteering back in play. So because they really believe in that. It's kind of what we were saying, not just for the fact that it's cool and efficient, but because it's powerful. It
Right.
engages the guest, it engages the volunteer, and it's been really neat. So we're looking forward to the day they get to do that again, but so thankful that they found a way to do it mechanically in the process. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, Ashton Samuelson, it was so nice to meet you. And
Thank you. I can't tell you how honored we are as a brand that you thought of us and agreed to let us come on. And yeah, thank you.
well, and thanks for showing me your taco. And I'm looking forward to trying it someday when I'm in one of your 18 communities.